Stand by, everyone. Fifteen seconds. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mayor Cogswell, and I appreciate everyone checking in. Looks like our projections from last night of 10 to 12 inches of rainfall are fortunately proving to be a little bit lower than expected. That said, the system has produced roughly a foot of water thus far. And based on the latest reports, which we received just a few minutes ago, we are projected to receive another few inches before midnight tonight. That and the National Weather Service has issued a flash flood warning in effect until 10:30 p.m. As a result, we are going to keep the curfew in place until 7:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, at which time we will make a decision on how best to proceed. You can expect to have a press release out soon thereafter, I'll say by 8 a.m. And I'm hopeful that, based on current projections, we will have much better news. Look, I don't want to have this in place any longer than we have to. I promise you that the purpose of this curfew is not to be annoying. It is not to hurt businesses. It is to keep people off the roads and prioritize the safety of our residents and our first responders while we still have a tropical storm sitting right off of our coast. This is a decision that I assure you I do not take lightly, but I do stand by my decision. And based on feedback from both my police and fire chiefs, I think it is the right call. That said, on behalf of myself, the city of Charleston, the hardworking folks upstairs, and our emergency responders out on the street, I want to say thank you to all of our residents for your patience, and I want to thank all of our businesses for your support and understanding. I know this has not been easy, but when it is all over, I strongly encourage all residents to go out and support your local restaurant, your local boutique, and yes, your local bar. And I hope to have a toast to the long goodbye of Betty. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Chief Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Once again, I also want to extend my gratitude to the vast majority of the public who have continued to adhere to our warnings and the curfew. We are in a state of emergency, and your adherence to the curfew has enabled us to focus on the critical issues at hand. And for context, last Monday and Tuesday, the police department responded to 1,371 calls for service. As of yesterday and today, we have responded to 957 calls for service. Just that general decrease in the calls for service has allowed for less strain on the police resources. Also yesterday, we had as many as 81 road closures, and today we had 89, with 45 still closed as of 5 p.m. today. There have been 9 citations issued related to barricades, disregarding barricades as of 5 p.m. But more importantly, we had no police rescues involved at all. So it's been a long few days, and we remain grateful for the public's cooperation. And again, I want to say thank you for your continued support and understanding. And with that, I'll turn it over to Chief Curry.
Good evening, everybody. I want to start by echoing much of what has already been said. I think the first thing I want to point out is that the city staff and our first responders really have carried the city over the last couple of days. The firefighters, police officers, the rest of the city staff that has prepped us for this event and have carried us through this event are nothing short of extraordinary. And if you don't realize how fortunate you are, let me assure you, you are. I'd also like to thank the residents for staying inside for the duration of this event, for staying off the roadways, and for heeding our warnings. The more you listen to what we're telling you about this storm, the better prepared we are to keep you safe, and the better our first responders can keep themselves safe in these events. Over the last 24 hours, the fire department has gone on 94 calls for service. And as I said this morning, that is a marked decrease in the activity that we would expect to see during a storm of this magnitude. So again, you have my thanks for that. As we move forward, the rain will move out, but the winds will pick up. With the winds picking up and the ground being as saturated as it is, we will still have a hazardous condition. So please continue to tune in, continue to listen, and continue to adhere to what we're asking you to do. And with that, I will open it up for questions.
Okay, take a few questions.
Yeah, we heard some reports of out-of-town businesses requiring non-essential personnel to come in from the city. Have you heard anything about that? How did you manage that with the curfew?
You want to respond to that?
Any officers that was at the entrance points, the only thing they had to do was let them know the purpose, and there was really no issues at all. We didn't try to complicate this. Our primary objective was to keep people off of flooded streets and the roads that we had closed. So if they could navigate, the officers worked with everybody, business owners, visitors, and our residents.
We just had I guess a viewer ask about, he lives downtown, there was flooding in his house, but there wasn't a hardware store open downtown. He had to go out to Mount Pleasant and I guess was given a bit of a hard time coming back downtown. Is there something that you tell people to do who need services out of town, whether it be a hardware store or something like that?
Again, every situation is different. We can get into 1,000 different scenarios. The goal is to, again, with this curfew, is to keep people off the streets, period. I mean, and that helps our first responders do their jobs. It helps them report and make sure drains are cleared, makes them helps make sure that when trees fall, that they can fix those instead of, saving people from stranding their cars in flooded water. So again, purpose of the curfew is to keep you in your home. And does that mean you can't walk your dog during a lull and storm? No. I mean, we're not trying to make you have your doors locked behind you, but we're just trying to keep people safe and be smart about it.
So businesses are allowed to be open?
Again, it's a curfew. I think that we're not requiring everybody to shut down, but we are asking for non-essential workers to refrain from going in just while we have, again, a tropical storm, 60 miles off of our coast. It is not, I don't think, too big of an ask. This too shall pass, I promise. Debbie has been hanging around a little while longer than we'd all like, but we've got a few more hours, I'm hoping, and we can get back to normal.
What are the biggest things you're looking for in the morning when you make that decision? Like the first things that you're going to look at in the morning?
Yeah, look, I mean, again, the storm is going out into the Atlantic. Weather is very unpredictable. We have no idea what's going to happen. We have projections, we have thoughts, ideas, but when a storm like this goes out over open water, It could pick up power. It could turn into more deadly winds. It could be pushing the tide up into our rivers and exacerbate things. So while we think we're going to be out of the worst of it, particularly as it relates to flooding, we cannot be absolutely certain. So we don't want to make a decision right now. We want to come back and just make an informed judgment call at 7:30 in the morning. Again, I promise you, we're not trying to delay this, but we do need to be smart about it.
That's all the time we have for questions, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.